And hello there, this is for surviving the aftermath of the updates for the new DLC, Shattered Hope and Rebirth. So in this video here, I'm going to tell you all about these new updates and what they, what everything is involved with doing them, and all the new stuff that's involved in this game, and how it affects gameplay, and what you can expect to see. So let's start loading this game up there, because it takes a long time to load this game up there. And I will talk about the other DLC at the end, if you don't do it, and the whole game in general, and the basic tips, and all that kind of stuff. But as you're waiting right there, the two DLCs right there affect, one is for hope and despair, basically. It's basically hope and despair, a meter going on there, and the other one is for blight and terraforming, and you gotta navigate that. So these are all new events that happen on top of all the other events. So everything else is going on with your maps is just more chaotic, and there's a lot more stuff to do, you know, more quest lines involving those things and unlocking them. The hope one you can get unlocked right away. It's a bar, you'll see that in a second, and it's pretty easy to navigate. It's not a very complicated one, that's why it was a free part of the DLC. An extra free DLC there they added in there to add a more in-depth approach to, you know, people's hope and despair that they have going on, you know, related to this, you know, surviving the aftermath type of stuff. But it has some neat effects going on with there, and the hope there is basically you collect moon rocks, and maybe the moon blew up or something like that, and that's why the moon rocks are meteors falling down from the sky and creating little areas that you have to go and harvest. So there it is right there. So there it is right there. You get your hope meter right here, and then you collect the lunar dust and process that and use that. So you have a couple new buildings involved with that. You're going to collect the lunar dust, and then you have little parties you can throw with it, basically. And then you have new functions for your other buildings, which is overclocking them, and they get a 50% boost in their production for 2 days, basically. So this is the meter right here. If this meter falls below 50%, basically, people start becoming anguished, and that is a new state. If it's not healed, they will turn hostile. You know, your colonists will turn hostile and attack everybody else, and you're going to have to kill them. That's the only way to deal with it, unless you build a trauma center. So you get a new trauma center you can build pretty much right away, and then you have a guy run there to operate it. But as long as you keep it above 50%, you're not going to get very much people that have that are anguished. You don't have to worry about it too much. It's not that intrusive to start with, and this big thing right here is the hope square that you can get unlocked right away too. And then how you do that, how this works is after you build it, you just select your feast, and then you can upgrade it for larger feasts later on. But you get this one right away, and it uses that lunar dust too. It doesn't really say it's using it, but it does use it up, I believe. Let's see how much, I can do that, how much, it doesn't hurt right now to use it. It gives you a minor increase in your hope. It's like 2 to 3 bars, and it gives you an entertainment. At the start of the game, entertainment is hard to get, and a little boost for a day is nice to have. So you can stick it on there, and let's go in there. There, got a boost. Yeah, maybe it didn't really use any dust, did it? But so yeah, it didn't really use a dust. But so you can have that going on, or maybe it did. I'm not even paying attention too much to this. But you can build that, and then to collect it is another new building, which is the Moon Rock Furnace, which is upgraded right now too. And it works the same as every other building in the game. You can even overclock it too if you want. You can overclock it while collecting stuff that uses it to overclock it. But yeah, you just go around and find the lunar meteors that pop up every couple days. 2 or 3 rocks will pop off, and then you got to go there and collect it. They hurt buildings, and they will, you know, cause pollution around in the area. So it's good to harvest them because they're just in the way all the time, mostly too. And of course, overclocking your stuff is nice. There's no need to stockpile all this. You can go nuts with overclocking as much as you want, and it's really handy for, you know, epidemics and stuff like that. And you can, you know, overclock your overtime, you know, your healing huts and everything like that. Any production building you can overclock. Whatever you're low on, just overclock the crap out of it. You can't overclock a power, I don't believe. Yeah, you can't overclock power. That wouldn't make sense. But it would have been nice to overclock some power when you're getting low on power. That would be nice. So let's talk about the other. That's all. That's basically it for that lunar thing expansion right there. Is just dealing with the hope and despair and stuff like that. The other one right here involves terraforming. It involves your blight lab and blight samples. And now your whole map is this is an example of blight around there. Your pollution makes your trees turn into blight trees, basically, which you know, just more pollution type of a deal type thing. People don't like it, but you get these blight cores that are all over the map now, just as much as the pollution is. So you got pollution and you got blight cores. Same thing, bigger areas. Then you have to get rid of these things, and to get rid of these things, you have to use the new blight labs and other things to to get rid of them all. And it takes time to unlock them and all that kind of stuff. Now, the other thing is with the blight samples is they're going to have blight hives. All my hives are gone now. I cleared them all out. But these hives, they pop up every couple days until your terraforming reaches 100%. Once you have 100% terraforming, no more blight cores are popping up. So these blight hives that pop up are just random locations that last for a couple days, disappear and pop up somewhere else. There's 2 to 3 of them usually on the map somewhere, and they spawn in like every 6 hours. They spawn in like 2 small insect flying guys that are really fast, or they'll spawn in a big queen that you have to deal with. And you have to deal with these guys that run around there. That's why I had this little station right here set up, because I was getting a whole bunch of hives over in this area. But they spawn everywhere in the map. So there's like hives everywhere over here. That's why all these guard towers are here, because you have all these hives popping up randomly, and then you have to deal with them and kill all the guys that come on that keep spawning off of them, or get rid of the hive altogether, which you can't do with your specialists. You have to do it with the new buildings that are unlocked with your Blight Lab. So the first thing you're going to get is your Blight Lab, and that you get that by doing it on the main map. So you go to the main map, and like any other quest, you have to, you get it, you start it, and go out there with your specialist and do the quest chain. And you doing the quest chain, you'll get the Blight Lab. And then, once you get your Blight Lab, you have a whole system here for your Blight Lab discoveries. The workers will bring in you bring in your Blight samples. You need 100 for the first one and like 1,000 for the last one. You do them one at a time. You get them unlocked. Cost resources to unlock it, but you get the purification center for the first one, and that will get rid of just the corpses and the trees, basically. So you get rid of the corpses and the blighted trees, and you get blight samples for doing it. And then you work up to the next one, which is upgrading your guard post, and you get a choice. You can get an extra person on your guard post or range, and of course, I never put people on my guard post, so range is the only one that you can really pick on that one there. And then you upgrade to exterminating post. Now you can get rid of hives and nests and stuff like that. So the hive and layers and nests, they're all basically the same thing. And then now you can get rid of those, along with the corpses and trees. So that's just upgraded. And then you get to the terraforming. So the terraforming uses the same blight samples as fuel for terraforming an area. So, and you still have more stuff to learn. So yeah, it is recommended you terraform maybe one small area, enough to make a nice big farm. So make a nice big green land so you can build your large farms out on the ground, and with all of them needs you need. I made an area that has 6 farms, six large farms, and that was good enough. I don't need anything else to run the whole system for now. So basically, to the end of the game, yeah, that is good enough. So do that, and then stop terraforming. Just stop terraforming altogether until you're done. And then you get the basic terraforming here, and then this one here was giving more people. So this gives you 2 extra workers for this option here, or you can increase the speed which it terraforms. And I think the 2 extra workers is a little bit faster. It gives you more, put more people into it, and it'll be faster than the actual speed. But I don't know. They don't actually give you the actual exact information on how fast it is. Most stuff is like 25% faster versus adding 2 more guys, which puts it up to 5 guys capacity on your terraformer. So that is a little bit more than the 25% speed. It's like faster, whatever the math is on that one there. But the next one here is your blight resistances, and then you can put on the gear, which I did, and that one makes it you guys can work faster. So they work 30% faster. Sorry, I got something wrong with my mouth. I got some dental issues going on here, but you can clear the nest faster and the hives faster, which means those guys will stop spawning and you can clear them out and you get your samples faster, versus getting more resources off flowers and beetles. So you can build your crops and grow blighted crops to harvest for your blight, and you can grow beetles and harvest them for blight samples too, but you don't need that. You get on your map, you just have so much blight samples, you don't need to do this, and you stop your terraforming after that, and then go to advanced terraforming, and it's low energy. You're not going to have much terraformers. I can run around with 2 terraformers. It's fast enough for me, and versus having a bigger area. The bigger area is less micromanaging, so it's a little bit easier to do. So yeah, I went with the bigger patches, and then of course you want that last one unlocked as fast as possible. So as soon as you get this unlocked, you can go back to terraforming, and this unlocks your hazmat station, which is the upgraded version of your pollution station that you built earlier on. It's not part of the game, not part of the new expansion. This is the regular old pollution station. It gets upgraded, and you can do pollution and blight samples, and then now you can get rid of the actual blight core. So all these cores that are causing all this pollution everywhere, and where all those things that spawn in there, you can get rid of these cores all over through your map, and you get more blight samples. I sold like that much blight samples already. I was overused. My map is way over terraformed over there, and I didn't have to do anything extra to worry about that for that kind of stuff. And let's check out the terraforming building. There they are right there. I got a couple of those with all the people running around there doing the terraforming. They have their own little separate area going on. Let's go to this area here. It's not done yet. This was this one area was really bad for terraforming right over here. Yeah, so you just, like every other building, you stick it over there and it'll start turning all this right here into this. This nice green grass with flowers, 100% fertility rate on everything on your whole map is, something you're going to be doing, and it's going to be nice. And this is just a little area. So I did this little area first, and then once that was done, stuck these farms on there, and they're good to go. And that's all I really needed for farm food was just those 6 big patches, and then, I got my food nearby, collecting it, and everything else is, good. They get all the resources. Everything is fine on that regard. And then on the world map, besides doing the main quest, there is now those insects and the queens all over the world map running around causing problems. They don't attack your outpost, so you don't have to really worry about them, but they will attack your specialist. Like these guys, they look really weak, and most of them are really weak. That any specialist can take them out without a problem. But sometimes there is more than just 3, and you won't notice it. So pay attention. If it's just like 3, they're easy, but sometimes they might have 12 or something like that. I don't know. Sometimes they might be hard. So just be aware, but usually not. You're pretty safe. But the queens, I got one over here. These things are all over the map. So if you remember your spawn rates for the deer and the bears that come around, these guys are like twice as much coming around. And these guys are bigger, stronger guys that will take out your specialist. And you need like 2 specialists to take out one of these guys usually. And the key thing for your specialists is always go for attack damage on them. That's the key factor for dealing with like everything on this map right here. Is having enough attack to kill them all, so you guys don't take as much damage and you're not wasting all your time running back and forth and healing them and going to your healing stations. Like, have a healing station way over there as you're exploring and clearing out your map and dealing with the other societies and all the other stuff that's going on with the map. There's just so much going on that you have to stop every 12 hours when you get your specialists are done doing their stuff. You got to stop, go out there and deal with them like all the time. And then your colony gets attacked all the time too now because of all of these extra events that get stacked on. You don't have to worry. Those meteors are basically nothing, but those blight insects that come in like almost every 6 hours, I believe. And then there are extra attacks, like when your colony gets attacked by random bears and bugs and stuff like that happen a little bit more frequently now. Those insects do the same thing, and they attack your colony too. And when you're terraforming, they have events that do the same thing. So I think 25% or the 33%, they have an event. I forget what exactly, but a big group will spawn in and come in there and attack you, just like another event. And the last one is a big, huge guy that comes in there and attacks you. You got to make sure you're going to deal with that because he's a little bit harder. Just for an example. The small little insects that spawn, as I'm going to hover around here, the little insects you spawn have like 3 to 4 blight samples on them, and the queen has like I think it was like 16 or so, has like 16 blight samples, and the last one had like almost 200 blight samples on it. That's how big he is compared to the other ones for difficulty on dealing with it. But I recommend don't deal with these guys with specialists anymore. You have guard towers which will automatically attack things from range, and you can stack a whole bunch of them together and they work just as well. And now these days the guard towers and any other buildings that get damaged and they catch on fire, the fire takes a long time to burn your buildings down, so you have extra time to repair them, and animals and stuff will stop attacking those buildings. Once they're on fire, they don't want to touch them anymore, and they'll stop attacking, and then they'll attack again later on and attack a different building or people and stuff like that. So you don't have to worry about your buildings being destroyed as much, and a nice little setup of 4 guard towers is recommended going through it there to deal with all of the new threats that are on your main map right here. So to deal with that. So there is nothing else with the technology tree going on with that, and I think that basically covers what's going on with the blight. Your citizens can get blighted. There's no cure. They state that on the loading screens all the time. You'll get the hang of it. But if your people get blighted, they'll turn in and become hostile, and then you got to kill them basically, and then kill them off. So some of them will get blighted here and there, and then you just you kill them. Eventually they'll turn and attack. So make sure you have guard towers everywhere and don't skimp out on them like I was trying to do, and then you have your specialists do all the work for you on here, which kind of sucks. So let your specialists go on the world map and do their thing over there and take care of everything with your guard towers and set yourself up nicely that way. And that is it for the new stuff. So the next thing on this video is going to cover any of the basic tips other than the guard towers of getting stuff done for the game, and the other DLC with the alliances. If you're not familiar with the alliances, your whole goal is you get like 5 random societies that are going on there, and with the random abilities that they get. I think they might have the same thing all the time for the sin. Like you get Sin Tower, you get the House of Joy for their special ability. You have to get them up there, and then you have to become alliances with them. So it's basically just doing all their quests that you have for them, and all that kind of stuff, and being nice to them, and all that kind of jazz. You get the basic stuff right there. But these are the rewards you get after you get the embassy bonus. You get a House of Joy. You get to build those, and extra birthright. So this is a good one to have and focus on as an example. I got a video that has things I recommend, what I think are the better ones, but as I said, the House of Joy is really good. Mess halls is really nice, and there's one that gives you your specialist and extra movement speed on the map, which is kind of handy. Some of the ones aren't as good. The 100 resources is okay, and I never do covert mission rates on my guys. I don't see the point of doing that too much. Stuff like the Academy is nice if you have it at the start, but if you don't need science points later on. It becomes useless. But that is your main goal on this, and to do that you get requests that you can do, and I got a request right here on this guy to loan a specialist to him, and then you'll get reputation and rewards type of thing, and then you get different requests, kill some guys, kill some wild animals, that type of thing. But the goal is to trade with these guys and build buildings inside them, and that's what I recommend doing. Get your trade hall built up right away so you can start getting the resources, because metal is not unlimited. You will run out, so you got make sure you have friends that you can buy metal from if you go overboard and play for a really long period of time and stuff like that. But you just come in here, and when your trade offers, you go there and click the trade offers. You can see your embassy bonuses and stuff like that once you have them. But this is the one you're going to focus on, the buildings right here. All these places have 2 of these buildings, have 3 of these buildings. Sorry, I don't know why I say 2 for. You get 2 rows, I guess. The first row is unlocked. You can build 3 buildings, and then the second row is unlocked once you get like close to 75% reputation on them or something like that. Eventually they'll get unlocked. It doesn't matter when. You just get higher rep, and then they'll get unlocked, and then you can build 3 more buildings. And you do that inside your own city. You can just click on here, but you can't click on here. You can't destroy them. So picking your buildings is key on what you want to pick. And I tried going out without getting the school first because I didn't want to build the school, but I just wasn't getting the reputation fast enough, even doing their quests, which are random and depends on where they are. And your specialists want to go collect stuff versus doing that. But yeah, so I recommend build your school first, get your school unlocked, build your school first, so you get that 10 reputation per day off these guys, and then go ahead and build a tavern next, because that 50 silver per day at the start of the game is really handy. You can just use that as extra fuel to buy stuff, and you don't have to overbuild on like resources to sell, and then you can focus more on the new stuff and your colony's efficiency and stuff like that. Then it helps, so you get those 5 guys collecting 50 silver a day each. It adds up, especially when you get close to the start of the game. I found that was really helpful versus the other stuff. And then of course you want to go with the house with some type of population boost, which is the key thing that you want later on. And you can go with the kitchen or the greenhouse. I would recommend this. The greenhouse is easier to unlock, and it's cheaper to buy the basic foods, and this will unlock basic foods for trades. So your basic vegetables and fruits and stuff like that, you can buy that, and they're cheaper than actually the cooked food, and that's what this one unlocks, is an option to buy cooked food and stuff like that. It's handy to have. It adds population. You don't have to pick those, but I just in case you need to buy food, it's nice to have that option there versus the other things. And then the other things I recommend you doing is, of course, the trading post, so your guys move back and forth faster a lot. And, of course, the nice housing. Once you get that unlocked, that's 3 population per day. You might as well. There's another one that gives you 2 population and 10 silver per day, but that's a lot higher along the tech tree too, and the 10 silver doesn't seem worth it compared to the population. And if you're going to need that population boost to get the alliances going, because you need to raise your population above what the other guy has, and he's going to be killing you at the start. You're going to be way over here at the start, and you're not going to have an ally, and you need your allies to have the big population that adds to your total, so you can form the federation when you want, and get the federation rewards are basically nothing. Like, who cares about this at the end of the game? That doesn't matter. But what does matter is you don't have to worry about their requests. If you fail their request, they don't do requests no more. You can fail them all you want, and you won't lose any reputation, so you can keep trading at the maximum value throughout this game. And that is basically it. And so on the tech tree that they added for that, once we get in there, we'll do the tech tree stuff, it's still the same. You unlock the schools and the greenhouses at the start. So unlock this one right away, build your schools, build the taverns. There's the taverns and kitchens up there, so you're going to have to go over there and learn that one too to unlock the taverns, but you can go with the greenhouse right away until you learn that. It's quite expensive to learn, but it's worthwhile to get that tavern out right away. And the other things I still recommend are still the same for your thing. So your specialist up there, I still recommend getting the scout and the scientist at the start, because the scout is like 100% faster at scouting stuff. It only takes 12 hours to scout new terrain versus the whole 24 hours. So half the time you can scout a lot faster, and the scientist to collect your all-important research at the start of the game to start learning this stuff as fast as possible so you can unlock the stuff in this game. And I still recommend going with the survival one to start with, because they don't really explain it, which they really should have, because you need the help to do this. They shouldn't have they should give you a reason to actually have a video on which one to pick, because they should have all this stuff and show it to you on your options that you can pick at the start of the game, defensive or survivalist and whatever. But survivalist is still the key one right there, for your ideology skills, because production speed on your fish and your venison is just a lot better, and I think it gives you more food, more cloth too. Maybe not, but that helps out that right there. And then the key thing, right, you need to get emergency harvest is another key factor. So you're harvesting your stuff, and a winter comes along or a heat wave comes along, you can just harvest it and you'll collect all your food before the event happens. That is really important. If you don't have this, if that stuff happens, you won't be able to collect all your food, and you'll lose out on all that food. The nice food you've been growing will be wasted. Like half of it will be gone. Over half of it might be gone even. So that kind of sucks. And the other cool thing is lumberjacks. You're always going to be using lumberjacks throughout the game, and having an extra worker doing it is just a really nice extra bonus right there on that tree. That's why it's recommended. It's just too many things that are recommended that are very helpful, and like efficient heating. So all your radiators and stuff like that you build out through your system, which you're going to want to build, take 50% less energy. That is like an amazing bonus. 50% less energy for that is just something you're going to be using. You have to be using the whole time, and it's going to be taking less energy. So when that winter comes along, you're not going to be worried about it. And the other cool thing is that even upscale tents is awesome to have, because you can build your tents and then reduce that happiness penalty by a lot, and they'll be happy enough to not worry about going in and building all this other stuff. So you at the start of the game, getting this ready to go, and they have the upscale tents, and then they'll be a little bit happier, and you don't have to worry about going through this community tree and learning all this stuff and getting all the communal living and home improvements and upgraded houses and all that kind of stuff that's involved with that, stuff that you can't even get access to until you have other research done anyways. In the last tech tree, of course, you want to get your Guardian Outpost done and Frontier Outpost. So the first thing you want to do is build your wall, get your wall done, and then build Frontier Outposts so you can start building the outposts. And then the next thing you're going to want to do, you're wanting to get Hazmat Engineering, but that can be a secondary thing to the other part. So after you get the other things I recommend done, go to Hazmat Engineering and then do the other stuff to get rid of that pollution. But get that Frontier Outpost unlocked right away, and then go into the other thing right here, which is go right up to that metal scavenging right there, so you can actually build those outposts and stuff like that in trade centers, and then go over to bartering, so you can actually trade with the other colonies and build your trade centers, and then you might as well get concrete while at it, so you can finish building the rest of those buildings and get that stuff done right away. Just go straight into that, and then the hazmat, so you can get those guys working on that pollution to start clearing up your map, and you can start trading for resources, and then go nuts on whatever else you see fit on there to get started. And of course, I recommend doing the 2-road. I like this 2-road system I have, but you do a better pathway and build up towards the middle of the map. Just common sense stuff. Build up towards the middle of the map so you can put these centralized locations for all the stuff like your moon rock furnaces and the new hazmat stuff and the pollution centers and all that kind of stuff. Anything that requires your guys to run around the whole map. I got some pollution sitting right there. I got a guy. That's a Blight corpse still sitting there. Blight remains. Well, that's a guy. Okay, that was a guy that died. You see a little symbol out there. There were 7 samples. It's just sitting there dying, left for dead. I got to clean that up. Oh, he had a package with him. He had some plastic. He's carrying some plastic, and he died from blight. He went hostile. There's some over here too. What the hell? Well, that's a guy. Okay, you can see that guy. He's a little guy right there, running around. But yeah, a nice, better system. Organized system, centralized locations for all the buildings. They got to search that you're gonna have like just one or two of. They're gonna do the whole map, and then build up from there, and expand with guard towers. Like I didn't really do it too much here until after, but don't rely on your specialist to go out and do everything. At the start of the game, you use your specialist to go and collect wood and stuff like that until you're getting your building done. So you have your guys go and get plastic and then build your other stuff and the basic, get your food, and have the specialist just go out and collect all those wood resources. And once they're done and going outside, you can ignore it and build a whole bunch of guard towers everywhere to do it. I recommend 3 or 4. Like I might have said already in this video, like I had up here, stick them up 3 or 4 and expand out that way. So for example, if you're going this way and this is your basic area, you have your guard towers right here, and then when you expand out this way, maybe about this location here, stick 2 or 3, find a spot to stick in, location for 3 or 4 guard towers, and then on this location here, basically, if you're going to build in this location here, that's the spacing basically you want. And always build extra guard towers, because I had lots of Blight guys and attacking, and make sure they can actually you're covered from different locations and stuff like that, even this close. And I even put them there because you're going to need guard towers in the middle. You just go overboard with the guard towers at key locations and spacing. So you don't want anything much farther than this for spacing for guard towers for guys that randomly spawn in and come in there and attack. So they got the range is far enough that these guys here can attack guys from way over here now. So that's a nice range that you get with that upgrade. It's just really handy doing stuff like that, and staggering your progression that way is really handy. The other cool thing with those is building all of these nice little things to collect the fish, to sell, and eat, of course, and then have a nice little area. Find the best location with the biggest clump of trees that you can start building your hunting cabins. And upgrade them and get them. So you got like 4 workers, they're all collecting the extra, they're all going super fast and getting all that food and cloth, which you can end up, if you have too much of it, you got something to sell at least. And it's decent to sell that stuff at the start of the game. And of course, you can stack these up as much as possible. So once you find one area and you get it to 100%, with the foresters and stuff like that, and then you fill it out, and then you can stack a whole bunch. So I got like 7 guys right here now, all harvesting. And that 7 is just barely enough to keep up with 4 guys making clothing, which is just, I'm losing clothing now. I had 160. So I'm losing clothing off of this now. So with my population increase, that was before when it was like closer to 300. Now my population increased, I'm going to need more. So that's why I have 6 here, because I needed that to start to build it up. And then now I'm going to have to fill it back up again with people and stuff. So we'll try and build a little station for 6 of these. If you're going to worry about clothing, you don't have to. Clothing is just an optional thing that helps them. It only, doesn't really, protects them from the cold and pollution, makes them more resistant. It's handy, but not a key factor in production. Tools are. But tools take a lot of good resources, and that's why I'm losing all my resources here, because I'm making all these tools, so they're getting all tooled up, and they'll be more efficient at everything they do, their work speed. So yeah, you want to increase their work speed, so that is something you may want to get invested in right away, other than the other stuff, if you can. But it all depends on how much metal you have. You have to do more metal production to keep up with it now. So before, I wasn't doing tools or clothing, and now you don't have to focus on it, but my guys are just being, regular effective versus their boosting effect that they get from the other stuff. And 3 was enough. Like 3 of these things is enough, but now it's not. Now the fact that I'm losing some, I'm going to have to build like 2 more just to keep up with that, or probably more, because these things are only using 6 of production speed, and these guys are using 2. So yeah, it's taken 1, 2. Yeah, so 2 should be able to cover that effectively, and then I can gain some more up on there. But yeah, that is the way the game works basically, and what I recommend. Of course, you need your power and all that stuff. Everything's organized. Yeah, the last thing you have to worry about is make sure you have enough places to clean your guys off of when you can. And that's the House of Joy. I'm working on building more of these things up there. It's a nice boost for happiness. But yeah, build a whole bunch of hospitals. When your population gets sick, everyone's going to get sick. You get almost half your population can get sick pretty fast if you're not careful, and that would basically suck. So you don't have the capacity. You got to have the healing hot capacity. And right now, with my expanded population, this isn't enough. I have to build more, because when you get an epidemic, just a regular epidemic is now up to 30 people. So, and that's not a regular event one. That's just like if somebody gets injured, everybody starts getting injured. Somebody gets sick in any way, they all starting to get sick in any way. And this is the bare minimum right here of healing huts. I got a couple elsewhere on there of these guys working full speed to do it. So yeah, when you're doing this at the start of the game, build a whole bunch of these medical tents and make sure you have at least 25 of your capacity for at least 25% of your population is what you're looking at, is what I recommend. Enough of these medical huts all stacked somewhere. They don't have to be anywhere neat. You don't have to worry about pollution, or you don't have to heat too much. Just stack them off in the way somewhere where you're not having them developed, and just have them there in case of an emergency. So you have at least 25% has a place to go for your healing, and you might not lose a whole bunch of guys on there too. And same thing for water. There is some events will use double the water, but there's a sickness that will use double the water, and that stacks. So you're going to need at least 3 to 4 times as much water supply as you can actually produce. So go ahead and build those not those wells. Sorry, my dentist stuff right there. I need to take care of. Oops, wrong button. Crafting button right there, and the water supply. Go ahead and build as much of these water wells as possible all over the place. Now this is all turned green, so it's effective. It just doesn't matter. Just build them all. I got a good spot over here. Let's go over here. You can see them. Even still, to note, the drilled wells do not show their area of effect, which really sucks. I don't know why the drilled wells don't show their area of effect. It's just an upgraded version of these wells, but stick these things as close together as possible, like I did here, and then keep doing it and stick them like right on the edge, because they still collect whatever they're going to collect. And when you upgrade them, they're going to collect that 16 water once they're upgraded wherever they are. That's not upgraded. Here we go. It's going to collect the 16 water. 16. As close together as possible. They all collect water. It's free water throughout your system, and it's easy to do. And that's what I recommend. You don't have to worry about building the water supply things and stuff like that. But having them as a backup is as a plan. Like after you build your fishing huts on any water sources, go ahead and stick as many of these water collector locations in as possible, as tight as possible. As long as they're close to 12 or 14 for the water is a good number to aim for. And so you have that extra capacity when you need to, and you can dump people in there when you need to have the water. And you do need that water storage stuff on there. Unfortunately, the storage for buildings, it is 2 different water supplies. So let's try and find the storage for buildings. It'll be my cookhouses, obviously. There's one right there. So I was always using these ones right here because it says, it stores 1,200 water. It has a nice big area. It's better storage than the storage units that you start with to buy for the same space, and it has a better function on them. So I was just using all of these. But on pandemics, when you're using a lot of water, the people will not drink off of these effectively. They just don't do it. They don't drink off of these things because these things supply buildings, and they don't really supply the people too well on their water. So these things are basically storages that they don't drink from. They'll be sitting right there, and everybody will be dying of thirst, running around through here, and this thing could be full, and they won't pick on it. So it really sucks when you go on there and you have that storage on there, that big storage capacity at the bottom there, that 20K storage in there, and they don't drink it because it's storage for buildings, and they sit there and they're not drinking it very fast. They do drink it, but it's just not fast and effective for them to do so, and you still have water in your storage, and they'll be dying of thirst. That's just the way the mechanics work right now. So you are going to need to build those actual clean water storages. So you make sure you have some of these going around at certain locations throughout your map near your people and stuff like that, so they don't actually end up dying right away, like super fast on those heat waves and stuff like that, and those extra pandemics where they take off like 3 times the water is being used all of a sudden, and you're at negative 100, and it's like, damn it, now 100 guys are thirsty, and then they all die. That sucks. Just be aware of that and plan ahead for that, and you have that extra water going on. And what I'm doing for the expanding them there, I was showing you that for a reason, because expanding them is important because of that little bug that's still going on, whatever the bug is. If this was upgraded, I wouldn't be able to see the actual radius on this, and not seeing the radius really sucks, and I don't know of any way to not actually see it if I want to expand. So don't upgrade the ones that are on the outside ring of your expansion thing as you're expanding on the map. Just like right here, I can't see where this one ends. Where this one ends, I got to randomly find a spot right here to build one. 12 is, this has all been fertilized. 12 is good, so I can stick one right there because this is close to that one, close to that one. Before that was barren land and I couldn't build there, but now I can. So you can have a whole bunch of water. And just be aware of that. Those things stacked together is always the most efficient way to go for collecting water. It's just common sense. But that is basically it for this update and the all the tidbits of information I can get. I'm pretty sure you're good enough to go to play this game, and everything else you can discover on your own without too much of a difficulty. And you got all the major tidbits of information that will help you understand what's going on with all these new updates and all the things that are going along with it, and all the mechanics that are going on with this game to build your awesome colony and make them all happy and get your alliance going on and build your doomsday bunker. My doomsday bunker in this game is not done yet, but yeah, it gives you a reason to play this game again, and it makes it a lot harder, especially on the harder difficulties. There's some stuff happening all the time now. It's until later on now it's actually mellowed out. It just it's just more intense of a playthrough now with all the stuff going on. So it's a little bit more interesting to play. It's definitely a decent game to play and spend your time. It's been a week before I can actually do this update, playing this game constantly for like a week just to get a handle on it and start again from scratch and build all this stuff. Maybe not a week, but close enough to get all this stuff done. So yeah, sorry for the late reviews, but now you got all the information if you're actually going to play it and you've been holding off. So thanks for watching, and I will see you later.